Thanks to the ideal growing conditions for grapes, grains, and hops, Washington's beer, wine, and spirit scene is something we're proud of.
It's light, it's refreshing, it tastes like summer and spring.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, these flavors just evoke emotion for me.
Even when alcohol was outlawed nationwide, Washingtonians didn't simply give it up. Instead, Prohibition became a defining chapter in our state's history. Let's take a closer look at Prohibition in Washington. Prohibition wasn't just a national story. It was a Washington story, too. Long before the rest of America went dry, voters here pushed to ban alcohol statewide. For decades, debates over alcohol shaped communities, politics, and everyday life across the region. The struggle over alcohol and what would become Washington stretches back to the territorial era, when questions about liquor were tied up with issues of settlement, culture, and community standards. As towns grew, saloons became central hubs of social life and central points of controversy. On November 3, 1914, Washington voters overwhelmingly adopted Initiative 3, a measure to prohibit the production and sale of alcoholic beverages across the state. That law went into effect on January 1, 1916, making Washington one of the first states in the nation to enact statewide prohibition, 3 years before national prohibition. The new law closed saloons and breweries, but it wasn't bone dry at first. People could still import limited quantities of liquor with permits, and pharmacies sold alcohol for medical use. Loopholes that quickly became well known. Across Washington, the demand for booze sparked a booming underground market. Rum-running boats ran liquor in from Canada through the waters of Puget Sound. Bootleggers like former Seattle Police Lieutenant Roy Homestead built networks that supplied the thirsty and defied enforcement. In 1919, the U.S. Constitution was amended to ban alcohol nationwide. Washington's earlier law essentially synced up with national prohibition, and the entire country stayed dry for more than a decade. But the experiment didn't go as reformers planned. Instead of eliminating alcohol use, Prohibition fed illegal activity, empowered bootleggers, and made enforcement costly and complicated. Home brews and bottles also made home use legal.
There were not wineries legitimately that could sell their product.
Yeah.
But it was a boom for grape growing in Washington State.
Really?
Because you could, as a home owner, make 200 gallons of wine in your home without a permit.
By the early 1930s, public sentiment had shifted. On November 8, 1932, Washington voters approved repeal of the state's prohibition law. And in October 1933, the state ratified the 21st Amendment, ending national prohibition. In the years that followed, the state established the Washington State Liquor Control Board, shaping how alcohol would be sold and consumed for decades. In the middle of it all was the foundation of abundant grape, grain, and hop farms on both sides of the Cascades. Once the ban was lifted, growers and scientists began developing the best future possible, especially in Washington vineyards.
Dr. Walter Clore was the reason why we have such an awesome wine industry today. He studied the science of plants and plant physiology, and he was working with irrigated plants and crops, and he saw potential in our state as a premium wine producer.
From bootleggers on the Sound to speakeasies hidden in plain sight, Prohibition was more than a law. It was a transformative chapter in the state's story, a reminder that laws shape behavior, but culture shapes lives.